Vocabulario. Actividades. Vocabulary. Activities. In this lesson, we're going to learn about actividades, or activities. Because activities are things that we do, this list of vocab words will be verbs, which you can see in their AR, IR, and ER endings. If a verb is irregular, we will practice conjugating it in the present tense together. Let's get started on the lecture and feel free to repeat after me. To draw is dibujar. To travel is viajar. To exercise is hacer ejercicio. Notice that the verb is hacer and ejercicio is a noun. Hacer ejercicio directly translates to do exercise. As you have seen before, hacer is an irregular verb. The conjugations go as follows. Yo hago, tú haces, él hace, nosotros hacemos, vosotros hacéis, and ellos hacen. To watch TV is mirar televisión. Just like the previous phrase, mirar is the verb and televisión is the noun for TV. To shop is ir de compras. Like we have seen before, ir is an irregular verb. The conjugations go as follows. Yo voy, tú vas, él va, nosotros vamos, vosotros vais, and ellos van. To play guitar is tocar la guitarra. Notice that the verb tocar is to touch or to play, and la guitarra is the noun. To hang out with friends is pasar tiempo con mis amigos. This directly translates to pass time with my friends. To skate is patinar. To ski is esquiar. To ride a bike is montar en bicicleta. To play sports is jugar deportes. Good work! You have now completed the lecture. Now let's move on to an activity to practice what we have learned. In this activity, we will be translating sentences from English to Spanish. We will be pulling in everything we have learned thus far in the course, so feel free to pause the video if you need to review your notes or if you need a break. How would you translate the sentence, I love to ski? Feel free to pause the video if you feel you need more time to answer this question and the answers are being revealed too quickly. If you said, me encanta esquiar, you are correct. Remember that the phrase me encanta translates to I love. Because it is skiing that is impacting you, encantar is conjugated encanta. How would you translate the sentence, I work out in the morning? If you said, hago ejercicio en la mañana, you are correct. Remember that the yo form of hacer is irregular, so it's hago. How would you translate the sentence, do you like to watch TV? If you said, ¿te gusta mirar la tele? You are correct. Remember that gustar directly translates as to be pleasing to, and because watching TV is directly pleasing to you, gustar is conjugated in the form of te gusta. How would you translate the sentence, she skates to the store? If you said, ella patina a la tienda, you are correct. How would you translate the sentence, they play sports at 5 o'clock? If you said, ellos juegan deportes a las 5, you are correct. Remember, because 5 is a plural number, the article that belongs with it is las. How would you translate the sentence, I want to ride a bike? If you said, quiero montar en bicicleta, you are correct. Remember that the verb querer, which means to want, is an irregular verb. How would you translate the sentence, I love to shop? If you said, me encanta ir de compras, you are correct. How would you translate the sentence, she draws horses? If you said, ella dibuja caballos, you are correct. How would you translate the sentence, he does not like to travel? If you said, él no le gusta viajar, you are correct. Remember, because it is he, we use le gusta. Traveling is not pleasing to him. Gustar is conjugated in the él, ella, usted form because viajar is a singular activity. How would you translate the sentence, what time are you hanging out with friends? If you said, ¿a qué hora vas a pasar tiempo con amigos?, you are correct. Remember, to ask about time, you always start a sentence with ¿a qué hora? How would you translate the sentence, they play guitar at night? If you said, ellos tocan la guitarra en la noche, you are correct. Remember that tocar must be conjugated in the ellos form of tocan. Good job! You've now completed this activity. Feel free to go back through the lesson or to review old lessons as you need. Remember to keep practicing, as making mistakes is the best way to learn.